What is up, everybody? It's your boy Isaac of the Dead back with another video. So, there's a lot of rumors going around, a lot of news spreading about Fantastic Four. The release of the new movie Fantastic Four, First Steps, releasing by Marvel Studios in the next month or so. Um, I've covered it before on my channel. I've reacted to the trailers and stuff like that. Here's my thoughts because there's been a lot going on. Female Silver Surfer, Shala Ball, or whatever. No. Do Norin Rad. We all want Norin Rad as Silver Surfer. And to be fair, it's way too soon to include Galactus. You should build up somebody like Doctor Doom or Mole Man or maybe even Annihilus. But Galactus is too soon. Galactus is he's a Thanos level threat for those of the wiki warriors out there that like to make power levels based off of movies. Uh, it's too soon to do Galactus. He looks too small in the trailer too. If I had to give one complaint, and having Shala Ball, female Silver Surfer, as his herald, just makes me and the collective world roll our eyes at this. I think this movie's probably not going to be as good as it can be, and it's a shame because if you can believe it, 10 years ago, it has been a full 10 years since Fanforstic came out. The reboot of Fantastic Four with Miles Teller as Reed Richards. That movie, I don't know if I'm ever going to make a review for that movie because I never want to see it again. I saw it on my birthday. It released on my birthday, I believe. And I saw it the day that it came out on my birthday. And I came home angry. I think that was the first movie I'd ever seen in theaters where I just fucking hated it. I came home and I despised it. I was like, this isn't the Fantastic Four. This isn't even a good movie. This is just trash. You know, I was so disappointed, and it's a movie I never want to see again, and I never want to talk about again. But eventually it'll come up anyway. It's a reminder, a lesson not to do what Fanforstic did. Luckily enough for Marvel Studios, as we've been talking about Fantastic Four joining the MCU as long as that movie's been around, Fanforstic, we've been talking about it for like 10 years now. The MCU, to their credit, have decided to make this new Fantastic Four movie set in the 60s in an alternate timeline, have everything be more futuristic, more comic book accurate, and that's what you need to do with Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four needs to be unapologetically, unashamedly comic book cheese, basically. It doesn't have to be corny, it doesn't have to be like over the top and not authentic, but it has to be in some capacity like cheesy, corny. Like it's got to be high fantasy, right? You got to make it very comic booky. And if you're not genuine and authentic, and if you don't love it, it'll come off as bad, right? The casting reports pretty good, pretty solid, all except for maybe Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. Because Pedro Pascal does not really give me the sense that he's the smartest man in the universe. Not to mention, I am so fucking sick of seeing Pedro Pascal everywhere, whether it's The Last of Us or Star Wars or commercials or just online in general. I'm getting kind of fucking tired of seeing him. He's also a scumbag piece of shit, but I'll save that for another video. He doesn't strike me as a good Reed Richards. All right, all the other characters sort of like, okay, I can see them in their roles, but he is not a good Reed Richards. And I'm really concerned, and I'm probably going to be right about this. Johnny Storm, Human Torch, probably going to end up being gay. Sue Storm, one of the best female characters in Marvel, period, is probably going to be leading the charge. She's going to be the center point of the movie. She's going to be the main character instead of Reed Richards because God help us if we actually make an accurate Fantastic Four movie. And I think that's probably the point of my video and the point of my rant. We will never, mark my words, we will never, at least not in my lifetime, ever see a properly adapted live action comic book to film Fantastic Four movie. The Tim Story movies of the 2000s were the closest we'll ever get. Maybe the 90s, actually. I haven't seen the 90s one, but the 90s one actually probably more accurate than the Tim Story ones. But the Tim Story ones are the ones that I grew up watching. And as much as I liked them, they are just not good movies. They're not the worst movies ever. They sort of do the Cliff Notes version of It's like a 2-hour Cliff Notes version of what the Fantastic Four is supposed to represent, right? And so they're entertaining if you shut your brain off. The one main thing that they get wrong in the two movies that they span, Galactus is a giant cloud. Galactus is not a giant cloud in the comics, and he should not be portrayed as a giant cloud. That was a huge potential, just like squash potential, wasted potential. But that was like the one complaint creatively that I've had with them. Other than that, the Fantastic Four is just like, those movies are just cliff notes of what the Fantastic Four is supposed to be. We've been talking about Fantastic Four joining the MCU for a long time, and the proper place they could have done it is at the very end of Endgame. All right, you have the rights to acquire from Fox to get the Fantastic Four and X-Men and all the other characters that come with it. So after Endgame, how do you start Phase 4? Well, you start it with the Fantastic Four. It's in their damn name. That's how you start Phase 4. The tone and shift of the entire MCU would be different. But at the same time, you got to ask, would they have race swapped every single character? So there's no amount of changing the cultural Marxism of the whole thing. That's unavoidable with Hollywood at this point. So ain't no point in really giving them ideas because they're not going to take them. But what I'm getting at is, I think even if this new Fantastic Four movie is good, it will never be good. Does that make sense? If it's enjoyable, if it's not woke, or if it's not, if it gets the comic books right or whatever, it still won't matter because there will be something or someone that screws it up. Whether it's a fan casting, whether it's the actors coming out and blaming the fans, or if it's one small detail that's out of line. My point that I'm getting at is we will never see a properly adapted Fantastic Four live action film. So I have very little hope that this movie is going to bring things back to order. And I do think, though, it's going to tell us everything we need to know about the future of the MCU going forward. But I think that's a very bleak road. I just say scrap it all after Secret Wars, reboot everything, start over, recast everyone. They had a perfect opportunity to bring in John Krasinski as Reed Richards, and they fucking squashed it with Doctor Strange mom. And that movie told me everything. That movie killed Marvel for me, right? That movie said to me, oh, as soon as they got Reed Richards, as soon as they got the X-Men, they kill him off in the MCU, almost ritualistically, instead of treating them with respect. This is the first thing you do with the characters. What else are you going to do with them? So at this point, it doesn't even matter. But yeah, I'll see it. I'll cover it. I'll do a review for it. Same thing with Superman. And that's... oh, shit. That one's a whole drama on of itself. But Fantastic Four is going through a lot of reshoots after bad screenings. Of course, the shills say nothing's wrong because they're idiots. But we're just going to have to wait and see what the final cut of this movie looks like. And I will bring you my thoughts in a video very soon. This has been Isaac of the Dead. Leave a like, share, comments down below. Hit the notification bell. And I'll talk to you on another video very soon. Oh, my throat is real sore, bro. Oh, amazing.